We're going to be looking at the stories we have on the front page of the papers this morning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you would want to start.
Okay, let me start. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have 2 carjackers jailed 80 years and 3 others also sentenced. And Cape Coast ready for biggest ever Fetua fashion, and government releases 700 million bailout fund to pay defunct financial institution customers and provide funding sources for promises, Chachuchi Kata tells political parties.
All right, Chris, I have with me the Ghanaian Times newspaper. 2 banks commit 1.9 billion Ghana cedis to SMEs development, Dr. Amwa announces. And Medina Adenta footbridges, 10 white elephants, pedestrians abandon them, prefer to cross busy highway. Update on the banking sector cleanup, government to pay 700 million Ghana cedis to customers as first tranche of 1.5 million Ghana cedis to bail out assets management companies, and that's from the finance minister. As well as mixed reactions greet ban on export of grains to curb looming food crisis. So that's what we have on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
All right, Akufo-Addo slams election skeptics as he promises free and fair polls. We have this on Republic Press. Minority challenges 500 million Ghana cedis request to combat dry spell. NDC demands apology from Atachia for drunkard comment against Mahama. Contractor accuses Bilsa South DCE of withholding payment of his money. Ashedu Nketia threatens security officers ahead of 2024 elections. And Dumelo crawls back, retracts poisonous comment against Lydia Al-Hassan.
All right, Chris, on the front page of the New Independent newspaper, we have the Bilsa story here. It says, Bilsa South DCE hot as contractor accuses him of withholding payment of contract. The NDC accuses EC of illicit voter registration in Ejumaku Enyan Isiam. December polls will be transparent, and that's from the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Also, Alan turns Accra inside out with his rapidly growing Afrafanto movement. And also, government announces a $5 million endowment fund to support Legon Digital Hub.
All right, the new finder. We have 700 million Ghana cedis released to SEC to pay customers of collapsed fund management companies. Gold for oil policy needs reform. Dr. Isiama assets, and government to launch Eurobond debt exchange next week.
Right, on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, Women's MP condemned John Dumelo's malicious attack, and that story is on page 3 of the Daily Guide. 3 serial carjackers jailed 345 years. Kayaye praised Bawumia's empowerment initiative, and also churches others to get import tax waiver, and that's from the Vice President. As well as BOG clarifies Liberia currency transfer agreement.
All right, we have on the front page of the Herald, John Dumelo falls into NPP's Lydia Al-Hassan's widow trap as murder accusations take over Ayawaso West Wagon campaign. GJA president urges protection for journalists ahead of 2024 elections. And finance minister disputes COCOBOT's self-financing plan. Lastly, NDC demands apology from ICGC pastor Atachia over derogatory Mahama comments.
I have the Chronicle newspaper, and on the front page of the Chronicle it says rigging is not in our DNA, says Akufo-Addo. 2024 school selection processes kickstart set to end September 4th, and that's from the Education Minister. And also, after thorough police intelligence lead probe, 3 Kumasi Carjackers jailed 345 years, 2 accomplices sentenced to pay various fines. And on the front page of the Chronicle, the Bible verse for the morning is Colossians chapter 3, verse 25. For the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong he has done.
All
and
right,
there is no partiality.
Okay, so on the front page of the Inquisitor, 13 African Games expenditure, CSO runs to OSP. IGP meets Grace Minta, CAF CEO on urgent need of 25 additional dialysis machines. Mahama unhappy with EC's poor work. NDC's reset agenda is dangerous, and that is by NPP Vice President candidate Napo.
The Informer newspaper has these headlines. On misinformation or disinformation, youth urged to desist from hate speech. Reciprocate government's gesture, Napo appeals to affirm plains. Towards addressing tourism and coup, ECOWAS standby force crucial, Akufo-Addo. Mahama afraid of bad record, says Bawumia, challenges him to debate. And Mahama wet over Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia media encounter. That story can be seen on page 5, as well as government inaction cause of rampant strike, teacher unions.
All right. Let's look at some business and some financial news on the Business and Financial Times. That's BNFT. Standard Chartered pays dividend of 397 million Ghana cedis, delivers strong, safe and sustainable returns to shareholders. MOF releases 700 million Ghana cedis in asset management bailout. UBA is the most sustainable bank of the year 2024. Processors, not banks, to supplement syndicated loans.
Chris, on the front page of the Daily Analyst, which happens to be my last paper for the morning, it has collapsed fund management. Government releases 700 million Ghana cedis to customers. Defending press freedom, GJA to engage presidential candidates to make commitment statements on press freedom. Murder soldier case, alleged killers in court for committal proceedings, as well as GJA U.S. Embassy election 2024 project. GJA cautions against attacks on journalists ahead of 2024 elections. Also, Ghana's debt hits 761.1 billion Ghana cedis, and that story can be seen on pages 3 and 4 of the Daily Analyst. My final story, Dumelo apologizes for attacking Lydia Al-Hassan.
All right, so if we look into some of the stories that we've just given the headlines, I think one of the ones that hits me is, Dumelo, retracting his comments. So I am going to be looking at the one on Republic Press. Dumelo crawls back, retracts poisonous comments against Lydia Al-Hassan. All right, so one thing I find worrying about his comment, and obviously if you don't know what his comment was, he actually called her a bloody widow and made assertions of, she killing her husband. And I think that it's really unfair. And this is actually very misogynistic because we are in 2024 and we just signed the affirmative bill too. I mean, Ghana just signed the affirmative bill too. So I don't know why you would make such comments. You are supposed to be a leader. Right. And if you had something great to say or something great to serve the people, this has actually marred it for you, because that means you cannot work with women, obviously. And this is the situation where this is a country and a time where we want more women to be in politics. And if this is what you're going to be thinking about women, it's very problematic. Misogyny should not be allowed in politics. And as a leader, you should know better, because obviously we are trying to combat, societal perceptions about women. Women are not good leaders. Women cannot do this. Women should not be paid well. And you are here making such assertions instead of correcting those thoughts and those, derogatory thinking in people's mind. I think you can do better. I know you've apologized, but what is done, and what is said. And sometimes you cannot take what is said away. You can only say sorry. Sorry does not fix it. Sorry does not fix it, really. So it's also a great time for him to unlearn, because we have to learn and unlearn. So yeah, if this is how you think about women, yeah.
So Chris, yesterday when the apology came, lots of people on social media were calling for him to, get off the candidacy for the Member of Parliament race with Lydia Sarah Al-Hassan. And I don't know how you feel about that, but anyway, I also do not support the comments passed, because when I saw the video, I don't know. it really felt bad, because for you to sit in public and then say these things about a woman who was not even present in the meeting in the first place, she didn't attack you, she didn't come at you, and then you make such assertions.
Well, if you ask me, like you just asked me now, what do I think about what people on social media? Yes, he should be taken off. I'm sorry. In other countries, in developed countries, you actually be taken off. This is not a matter of cancel culture. It's not a matter of cancel culture. Everybody needs to be accountable for their actions. And if you have to be off it, you have to be off it. I mean, Tumela is my guy, but, you know, well,